Yo, everyone. If you're having a bad day, don't worry. It's Thursday. And you know what that means? It means it's time for Hey Rockstar. And you found it. You found the show that's about to change your life. It's a fun show, guys. Welcome. My name is Josafat Emiliano. My trusty sidekick, Miguel, is back there doing his thing. Let me move this. Uh, I feel like my audio is a little too much for me. There we go. That sounds a little bit better. But hey, welcome back to Hey Rockstar. This is episode 43. It is an interview with a rock star. We have a very special guest for you. But first, if this is your first time checking us out, do the thing, please. You know, the like, the subscribe, the share, show the love, and we will definitely love you for that. You will not be disappointed because we try to bring value. We try to bring you stories from amazing individuals who have done some great things. And you know, we've had some good times and bad times, and we bring it all together so that you can learn these lessons, apply them to your discipline so that then you can go and develop that right mindset to become the rock star of your industry. So, if you're ready for this show, I'm ready to get my guest in this place because he's got some good stuff for all of us today. So, my guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who is a rock star when it comes to startups, faith technology, and consultation. Not only that, but this man also he's well experienced in the professional music industry. Again, and again, faith technology, and I kind of want to know more about that myself. So get ready to ask. That's gonna be my first question. And also, my favorite thing is he's about empowering and helping entrepreneurs grow in their business. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please help me welcome Jared Romano.
I need those audio effects. That's what I'm here for. My goodness. Good to
Welcome
see
to
you,
the
buddy.
party.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I've got not nearly as the impressive audio that you have, and I'm learning through your skill set, the lighting. I'm gonna step my game up next time. Next time I come back, I'm gonna have a different setup for you guys. But thank you so much for having me. I'm so pleased to be here.
Welcome, Jared. Welcome to the show. Just a little background from Jared and I. Let me, again, this thing is really get onto me. Let me try this. Speak to me, Jared.
Yeah.
All
Hello,
right.
hello, hello.
Cool.
That
Is-
sounding all right?
Yeah. I want to
Great.
hear you over myself. But Jared and I actually met when I first moved here almost 5 years ago, almost six
Yeah,
years ago. And we met at a table with some brisket at that table, and
that's right.
we became part of the brotherhood of the brisket. And at that point, I'm like, I like this guy. Plus, he had a full beard. I hadn't yet developed my ability to grow the full beard, or I hadn't attempted until later on that year. And then I realized I can grow it. But anyway, we're not gonna get into that. I mean, like I say, I could talk about myself all day long, Jared. But today we want to unwrap your story. So if you wouldn't mind, just share a little bit about your journey so far and how you got to where you're at.
Sure, sure. I put it into a couple different segments of life. So
Hmm.
definitely came out of the church pastor's kid, and again a place that we met and became friends at, which took me immediately into the music industry. I was always the young kid that was had his perforated business cards I printed out from Office Max. I was always handing them out, and I did. I was able to go on tour at an early age. Right
Wow.
out right out of high school, and went into touring through that. I went into music school. Actually spent time in Tennessee and traveling music group, and then found myself in Los Angeles. Ended up applying. Literally, I was. We had a 3 day layover, and my friend reached out to another friend and said, "Hey, my buddy doesn't want to sleep in the bus right now. Is there any? Can he crash with you?" That ended up being Azusa Pacific, and getting a scholarship to go out there my
Nice.
senior year, and that put me into the world of Los Angeles and the world of music, and desiring to be a professional touring musician was something that I always wanted, and that immediate reality check that takes place of, oh, you were a big fish in a small pond, but now you're in the ocean, and experiencing that at a very obviously 21 years of age and going out into the touring music industry in Los Angeles. Spent a few years in that process, and then that all birthed this dream of wanting to start my own company, and I would honestly say accidentally starting my own company. That leads into we were having some chats earlier about what does it look like and starting your own business, and round one was this idea that I wanted to start the first musician talent agency, and usually these ideas come out of a result of failure, and so it was an audition that I was on that I wanted this gig, and actually somewhat got the gig, but I challenged the pay and wanted a little bit more, and they went on to the next guy, and utter devastation. My favorite artist, I can't believe I missed it. And then of course that failure goes, all right, so who made these decisions, who did this? And so that's exactly what we did. We ended up starting a company where I would host musicians, I would help them get their first business cards, and I'd put them basically under a label, like an artist would have a label. We were the first musician talent label, and what we would do is interface directly with the labels themselves. So if it was a Geffen gig or a Hollywood gig or whatever it was, they would sign the artist, and usually I'd said we'd only work with people with first and last names. So if it was a Colby Calais or whatever, a Rihanna sort of type artist where it's a one person, well, they need a TV band and they need a tour band. And so that we became that warehouse that would facilitate everything from the musicians. And then as we grew and grew and grew, it turned into lighting and front of house and staging, and away we went. So business number one was 22 years of age, and ran that for 6 years, and really had no clue, of course, what I was doing. Again, that was my heart was broken. So how do I still stay in the industry and be around my people and have some semblance of control, and then was able to actually sell that off and move into the next industry. And another story there was actually going completely into corporate America, an environmental software sales engineer. Never thought in a million years I'd be doing that after. I remember my first boss in that world said, "So you're just a musician looking for a paycheck, huh?" And I said, "Oh, buddy, yes, you read my mail for sure." And then that turned me into this kind of idea guy, and started seeing how certain elements were done, and then the desire. It was about 3 years in that like really humbling space, and then a desire to start my own app, and it ended up becoming a prayer app, which would lead into that faith technology world. And now I'm still in that faith technology world, and as a result of, there's a bunch of little businesses I started in there, some successful, some not. What I ended up being is a man with a long list of what not to do, and that in a consulting role, as people start these companies. I say I work closely with companies with employees of 35 people or less that are in business for 7 years or less. It's those early stages of what it really takes to get a startup off the ground, and the interpersonal relationship of being the founder, and what really is happening behind that founder lifting you up is the fact that they're freaking out inside, and there's so much dynamic that's actually happening behind the scenes behind every one of these little startup ideas. And so I've worked with dozens of companies behind the scenes in that regard. And so, yeah, I've put it in 3 categories. I'd be fluent speaker of musician and music business, and I'd be into apps and development and faith technology. And then the combination, the most recent thing I'm working on with the consulting arm is a weather placement system on your roof that categorizes high weather systems for insurance modeling. And I, of course, the musician in me would never think you're over there. But at the same time, it's the principles of business, the principles of people. It's so many of these lessons are replicatable. And sometimes you just need a guy with a little bit brighter flashlight that's done it a few times out in front of you going, come on, I've seen this before. We're supposed to make the right around this corner and make a left over here, and there's a bump coming. And so just those years of experience have allowed me to guide people, and I love it.
Could you elaborate on that term, the principle of people?
Yeah. So just the fact of there's I would say many now we all look at it as an enneagram now. We're hip millennials and our we can number people, but the fact is each person wants to literally be communicated to the way they need to be communicated to. And I've isolated it in bands.
Gotcha.
I could tell you the type of personalities. I was a drummer, so that meant I talked the most. And the reason that was I had to get you in high school to come over to my house because I couldn't move my drums around. So the drummers usually end up being the nicest guy in the band. The guitar player has his head down and he's the creative, angsty one. The lead singer usually wants the most attention, so they're going to be the mysterious one. The bass player, just like the drummer, they needed other people to do their job, so they're usually the warmer one. And companies work the exact same way. You've got the CEO who's usually I've played that role 3 or 4 times now in different ideas, and I've found out over the years, not a great CEO. I'm
Mm.
really good as the facilitator, the partnerships guy, the relational guy. It was just in those early days, I was the one having the unique idea, but unique idea doesn't always mean execution of idea. And even the executors oftentimes need leadership. And so
Mm.
there's these different dynamics where I'd be a 3, so I'm that promoter. The 8s, those personality types are the doer, and the 8s need the 3s. But if we don't have the balance of the 1s who are justified, there's all of these different principles of people, as you said, that are just our unique ways of communicating to each other. And oftentimes you need an interpreter in the middle, and I play that role fairly well.
Sweet. So I love the fact that you are just so quick to when the ideas come to just give it a shot. Is there like a process that you go through before you attempt it, or are you more like, hey, there's something crazy I want to try. Let's go for it and see where it lands.
So I've had mentors in my life, and the one that I still work with gave me the junkyard dog, I guess, compliment, and the fact that I can latch on to something and ride that thing out. And
Mm.
the I think entrepreneurship, especially in the early days, there's the high of the idea, and then you're pitching it to your friends, and you're getting good feedback, you're getting challenging feedback, whatever that is. There's this moment where it has to actually start to begin to become difficult, and the reality sets in and financial risks start to take place, and all of these different moments along the way. And if you're not comfortable being uncomfortable, you're not going to make it through. And that's what I would often tell people is, what level of uncomfortability are you willing to go to? Because that is going to, in my opinion, be your direct reciprocation to the success that you're about to have. And so
Mm.
it's not self-punishing. I've learned that one of, oh, I'm only gonna, my most creative, and this is not incorrect, but my most creative hours are 11 to 2 usually. The world's quiet, and I was so proud of myself for getting 4 hours of sleep a night in my 20s and 30s, early 30s. It was like, look at how hard I'm punishing myself for
Yeah.
all of these ways, so that when I'm sitting back and looking over my massive farm or anything, I can say
Mm.
that these hours hurt me. There's not falling in love with that part, but there's also being very clear when people are going to Cancun and you're not, because you've decided to maximize every avenue of your finances and put them into a business. I can look back on many missed vacations and long distance or destination weddings that I couldn't go to,
Yeah.
missed memories in life that are now I'm reaping the fruit of in different relationships and financially and different things like that. But if you think entrepreneurship has been made so cool, it's such a neat thing to put on your Bumble profile as entrepreneur. It's not as cool as it really is. It's actually you found something that you couldn't put down and you think is going to make money or make the world a better place, or I can't imagine doing life without this.
Yeah.
You have to be really comfortable in the fact that you're going to do without for a minimum. I mean, no, very difficult to be able to be successful within that first 5 years.
That's some rock star gold right there, Jared. Because a lot of people don't know the principle of delayed gratification, the importance of that aspect. And I'll be the first to say, When it came to, I've read a lot of books, and which is that one little thin book, The Richest Man in Babylon,
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
talked about don't eat your children, the money you got to let them work
yeah,
and grow. I've been guilty about eating my children, because it's there. You want to partake of your labor, but it's definitely a good principle and discipline to build. And right now, when you're talking, I was thinking of a principle that I heard once, that great leaders are quick to make decisions, and quick to make decisions, but they take a long time, or but not so quick to change their minds. That's that's a good
yeah,
leader. Whereas a bad leader, they take forever to make a decision, and the first sign of turmoil, they're backpedaling quick. And
yeah.
so it is important.
And a lot of that stuff is like you said, it's a little bit. I mean, if you could see the evolution of my app originally, the layer after layer after layer of, oh my gosh, I didn't do enough research to find out that already exists, but this idea is still good. And that, I mean, that first 1500 days, I mean, that's if you really start to process that, that is your sacrificial time. And when you come up with your idea, you're on day one.
Yeah.
14.99 to go, pal. And that's one of those things where not a lot of people have that longevity, that long suffering, and it's just such a requirement. We believe everything's microwave. A lot of these ideas are rotisserie. They take some time. So yeah, just get comfortable being uncomfortable. That would be what's, I think, a minimum requirement. And then of course you get around people in my different. There's plenty of people that can call themselves a consultant or startup consultant. Surround yourself with people who are going to poke Swiss cheese in every aspect of your idea. You want all the gaping holes so that you can go and patch them. And then the next conversation, there's 3 less holes in your
Hmm.
idea. And you just keep patching and patching and patching. And either you are physically learning a rebuttal, a way to talk yourself through whatever that challenge would be, and you'd have a list of rebuttals to get around, or you're going to patch the idea itself, and that won't become a challenge anymore because you've thought of it or you've prepared for it. And so, pitching often, as many people in the kitchen, especially in the at least first year. How many times that oh, well, you have to sign an NDA and you're going to steal my idea, and let people steal your idea all they want. It's your motor, it's your workhorse that will outperform anybody who thinks they can steal your idea. There's plenty of competitors out there.
That is good. That is good. Steal my ideas, because if it's that means it's a good idea if people are trying to steal it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's go into one of these questions that we have right here.
Sure.
How about this one? So, what are the ingredients to start your own venture?
Yeah, we hit a few of them. We hit a few of them. Definitely a community around you. Obviously, having an idea that is going to be something that a number of people can give you input on. Oftentimes, people don't go in financially prepared. Depending on your industry, as I came from the app world, and had relative success in that. And so I'm always getting pitched apps now, and they'll come in, and I have this app for this, and I'll say, fantastic. And how much money have you saved for this idea? Oh, I thought we would just go raise money. No, no, nobody's going to pay anything for your idea anymore. They want to see your effort. They want to see your personal investment. Well, I'm so invested into this one example recently, about this weather station that I'm working on, and I'm waiting because I get these calls all the time, and I'll get this phone call, and can we go out, and that's a great indication. I'd like to take you out, for your opinion. Something just very practical. If you're asking somebody who you want to learn something from or gain something from, make sure you're picking up the bill. Very practical.
Yeah.
Make sure that any sort of, I'm taking something from you, whether it be a contact, an inspiration, some sort of wisdom. I sit back every time. I'm more than happy to pay for my own bill. I'm happy to pay for your bill. But the fact that
Let's
you've
go.
asked me out and you've reached across and said, no, 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 I can't tell you the amount. In my early days of the music business, I would look at because I had to recruit these musicians to be a part of that musician service. The amount of Starbucks I have paid for, and I don't drink coffee, that I've paid for in my lifetime, I can't even tell you. And I would sit there with my water because I couldn't afford anything else, but I was making sure I was paying for that latte across the way from me because I'm investing in them. I'm adding them to something I'm doing. So little tidbit there, but I get pitched this idea and I go, great, this sounds expensive. This very, very, very big idea. So I'm assuming, because I'm going to have to go out and fundraise for this individual, I'm going to have to put the business plan together and get everything together. And he said, here's this, boom, business plan, here's this. I've got my first investor, here's this. This is what I need help with, and just itemized it. And I went, look at this prepared guy ready to go. Now I'm just putting the bumpers up on the lane so we don't make sure that we throw any gutters. I can't guarantee you a strike, but I can limit the opportunity for us to fail. And so preparation, community, of course, a unique idea, do your research, but come prepared, become financially solvent. Nobody wants to hear that you're in debt $35,000 and you need $50,000 for your app. It's like you got to balance your personal life before you decide to start this whole business world.
So are there still good ideas out there in different industries that people can start thinking about doing, not so much an app, but some kind of startup? Or have most of these work from home opportunities, have they already been saturated with our generation today?
No, there's plenty. I mean, as somebody who gets pitched, I mean, often, I'm every at least once a week, I'm getting some sort of harebrained something. And again, I am I guess 12, 13 years now, work from home. This is where we're going. COVID has forced us. We're learning. There's lots of rules to how you work at home because it's very easy to turn on a TV behind you and begin that vegging out process. You have to put some very, very high stipulations around your activity and how you work. Oh, but plenty. My goodness, we are not saturated in any way, shape, or form. There's plenty bright ideas out there. I mean, we have something I'm working in the faith technology world. So what faith technology, or how I define faith technology, is the systems that help the church run. And we have 4 different products in that industry that have been birthed out of needs and custom products from other large organizations that said, we trust this organization to build it for us, and we make a deal with them. Well, we'll give you 50% off the price that we would charge you, but we reserve the right to then sell that to the Christian industry, the faith industry at large. Seems to be a great business proposition. They get what they want for half the price. We get the opportunity to not have to build it 85 to 1,000 more times or something. So it works out well for them. But 2 of the products that we have, we would probably consider better mousetraps. So we're the largest sender of missions trips. And so, of course, there's also all sorts of travel software around there. But for the faith world, the faith technology world, we think we do it better than anybody else. We're the most nerdy, we're the most automated, we're the most time saving. So behind every idea that could be potentially out there that you're right behind, there could potentially be a better idea right beside it, making sure that it's leaner, making sure that it's smarter, possibly more efficient, possibly more cost effective. The second product or the 4th product we just made, but the second time we made it, we've got competitors in that we didn't even know we did. And so it's one of those things that you just kind of have to go out there and do the best that you can. And I'll plug my little hat company. I made an investment in this place. Talk about something I had no understanding in. I'm not, as you know, the most fashionable guy ever. And I'm not really this type of hat wearing guy, but these are custom beaver skin, beaver pelt hats. They range from $800 to $1,200 custom hats that literally he'll design for you. This company is called Daisy May Hat Company. And that's our little logo in there. And this guy just walked.
Highlight you a little bit.
Yeah.
Show it to us real quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's us right there, Daisy May Hat Co.
That is
And
cool.
so this guy was just a guy at a birthday party who walked up to me and said, I hear you help people start businesses." And so I got pitched at a birthday party from a guy who said, "I hate my job. My wife is pregnant and I don't know what to do."
Mm.
And that's exactly, he said, I'm a fantastic hat maker and I want to do everything I possibly can to build this business. And his motor was stronger than anything I've ever experienced, just being pitched one on one. And I said, I can't tell you how to start a fashion brand and a hat company and this and that. And here we are, 2.5 years. You can come see us in downtown East Nashville. We've got our own shop. We're doing literally 25K plus a month now. We've
Wow.
literally ramped the business up, and we're going to start seeing us in many of the hotels down in downtown Nashville. We just signed a contract with the Noel Hotel down there. So while you're staying down there, you're going to be able to grab yourself a custom hat. And so the future's bright in hat world. And again, it was a matter of evaluating somebody's work ethic. I mean, I remember in some capacity, I literally gave him his first laptop. We walked through business plans for the first time together. It had nothing to do with necessarily his skill or not. He's become one of the most excellent businessmen, excellent at social media. He just needed some guidance and he needed some protection, and we needed to raise money, and we did that together. And he needed somebody to negotiate at the table with him when we're raising these funds, and all of these different things that happen over the course of just the first few years of startup. And so, yeah, I mean, I hope there was an answer in there.
No, that was good. That was some good stuff. Like I'm already thinking about other things that I wanted to ask that aren't even in the list.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
just out of curiosity here, and just because I'm a geek for the startup, because I'm in the middle of starting up my business, and amongst some other choices I've had to make, trying to find a different job that will be that I can still work enough while I finish creating my speaker business.
Mhm.
But right now, I was thinking about right when you mentioned he didn't know much about social media, but he learned about it. Now, I'm assuming you have a team, but you might not, and you can correct me, whatever. Do you have someone who consults noobs when it comes to social media? Do you have someone that people can pay to come consult them? Like, this is how you use Facebook. This is how you read the algorithms, and this is how you try to go these things. Do you have someone like that on your team?
Definitely a team guy,
Yeah.
not me. Yeah. I'm too busy asking people when their birthday party is. I'll be right there. Like, I'm definitely the social guy. I was the creative guy, and I still consider myself a creative entrepreneur. But I've gotten more mired in the leadership, the accountability, and then just building relationships where maybe the founder can't go. And yes, we have I'll absolutely share with you afterwards our social media guy. It's Dave Ramsey's old.
Oh, cool. Oh no. Oh no. No. I guess we said a name that we were not allowed to say, and so Jared got booted off the system. I'm so sorry, Mr. Ramsey. We didn't mean to pull your name out. So, Jared, if you get a chance to go in, or come back, go ahead and click on that link. Oh man, that was a good question. Uh, Guys, it is hot here in Nashville today. I am sweating. Actually, I'm thinking about taking off my glasses. For the first time in a long time, the Rockstar is taking off his shades because it is very warm in Nashville today. I had to turn off the AC so that you wouldn't grab the sound. I think we're in the 100 degrees today, and it's humid. But if you are watching and you're interested in knowing more about startups, or if you have questions, go ahead and add it to the comments. Whether you're watching through YouTube, through Facebook, or even Twitch, ask your questions, and we'll try to get to them here just as soon as Jared gets back on. And if he doesn't, well, then I'll try my best to answer your questions. What is today? Today is the 20. Oh, he's back.
Uh, we're on a different phone. We're on the phone, and we're on the whole internet went out actually.
Was that
So
what it was? Oh,
yeah, we're playing on mobile now. So
nice.
see how that goes.
Would you mind turning your phone sideways so we can kind of get like the
Absolutely.
panoramic look? There we
There we
go.
go. How we doing?
Oh, you look
Oh,
great.
that looks terrible, but that's okay. All right. Yeah, we're just making it happen here,
No
guys.
worries, no worries. No, I was just funny as we got into that. I was giving people a chance to ask us questions, but you mentioned something earlier about this gentleman you helped, and this seems to be a recurring phenomenon with a lot of people, especially people of our age, who we've spent a lot of our work in hours um, working for someone else's dreams.
Yeah.
And eventually we get to a point where we're tired and we want to go, we want to be our own boss. So I would like to know, at what point did you decide, I am tired of being an employee? I want to be
Yeah.
my self-made person.
Well, and it happens in seasons. I mean, so the first time it happened to me, it was that musician audition. It was coming
Hmm.
out at 21 or yeah, 21 years of age, not getting the thing I wanted, and saying, "All right, well then I'm who." I can remember uh, saying to my buddy, "Who?" Because I knew the artist. I should have gotten it. Said who didn't hire me then? And he goes, "Oh, he's a talent broker." I go, "What's that job?" I want that job. So I decided that I was going to make that job, and then I was going to do that job better than the guy who fired me. And so that first one was a bit of an angsty decision for me to become that business person. And then I gassed out. I mean, after it was about 5 or 6 years, and what I can tell as a very beautiful, amazing, look how awesome I was story. What was happening really behind the scenes was the music industry was falling apart. The payments of where I was literally leasing and hiring these people into these different positions, the pay just kept going down and down and down. And we were
Yeah.
experiencing the first transition of buying a whole CD to buying a single, and the industry didn't know what to do with itself. And so I got tired, I got exhausted, and I went, I want a boss. Give me a boss. I'll take the health insurance. I'll take the steady pay. Not only that, you're telling me I only have to work 40 hours? I'll take the boss. Well, guess how long that lasted?
A
That
month?
lasted not 1,000 days before I was ready to jump out a window and go, let's try that again. Let's take that risk again. And so it comes in different seasons. Currently, I wouldn't necessarily say I have a boss. I'm one of 3 owners in this faith-based company, but there's accountability.
Yeah.
I mean, there's oftentimes even in a business that you own, you go and say, well, I wouldn't do it that way, because now you're involving other people, and you'll even have these breakaways to do other things. And that's where I've found a healthy balance of saying I am part owner of this faith technology company. I'm a part owner in the hat company. I'm part owner in this weather station potential idea. So what I'm trying to do is plant my seeds in percentages, so that just like a stockbroker would, is as certain industries start to push, I can be a part of them, and I can be a thought leader in them. And it's really, really great to be able to sit here in a position and tell you, I've never been more successful at what I'm doing, and I've never had more failures in the process to getting here. And so it's really one of those things of first process to becoming your own boss is, what's your risk quotient? How financially stable are you? You've got to save up some, because there are rough days ahead. You've
Yeah.
got to balance this idea between, I want to be my own boss, but make sure you're not doing that or making that decision in a bubble. Take that community element in and pitch your friends and try and get some honesty out of it, and then test that joker. See if I can make $1,000 this month doing this idea. See if I can make $2,000 this month on this idea. When that starts to outweigh your time and you can monetize, truly look at a chart and monetize your hours, of this new idea that you have, and you can justify it. You may even take, oh, well, I'm only making 50% of what I was making at my other job, but I'm so much happier and my potential to
Yeah.
grow is there. But we're not making gut shots anymore. You got to be smarter than, oh, I followed my dream and now everything's ruined. Well, guess what? Nothing ruins your dream quicker than being poor. you
That is
being
true.
you could take a beautiful dream, a God-given idea, and if you don't foster it and prepare for it, that dream could turn into a nightmare like that.
Yes. I mean, I've been in the good, I've been in the haves and I've been in the have-nots, but I definitely would take the haves over the
Sure,
have-nots.
sure. Yeah,
But
it's prep. It's all prep in that. It's balancing that idea. And again, I used to pride myself very much on my gut. Gut plus research. Don't forget the research part, because again, we're talking about putting everything on the line for a financial startup or an idea like that. Let's go in very, very well educated before we start making gut reactions.
oh, that is wisdom right there. That is Rockstar gold right there, Jared. That's some good stuff. What else? Oh, right now you said something that triggered a memory for me. Um, are you familiar with the writings of Rabbi Lapin?
I'm not.
He wrote a book. He wrote several books, but the book that I bought is called Business Secrets of the Bible.
Oh,
But
okay.
he mentioned something about money being a spiritual thing, and he goes, if you think about it, he's like, we are children of God, and if and he went to a story about a he had bought a car, and he went to his dad and like, Dad, I need to get my car fixed. He goes, well, here, take it to this mechanic. He's a friend of mine, and Mr. Lapin took it to the mechanic, and the mechanic fixed it for him. And he goes, there you go. And he goes, well, thank you. And like, how much do I owe you? He goes, oh, don't worry about it. He goes, well, no, you got to understand, this is my car. It's not my dad's car. And he goes, no, you need to understand, your dad's done so much for me that there's no way that I could ever repay him. To be able to do something for his children is a way that I can pay back my countless debt to your father. And he was talking about how much more our heavenly Father, who we could never pay back, if we learn to service and provide and do unto his children, if we learn to provide good things for others and services that are useful, then that money is a spiritual item that will transfer to us, because we are, in references, we are honoring God's children.
Yeah.
And that was just a beautiful mindset. But also the fact that money is spiritual also got me thinking, because I grew up in a religious teaching where the poorer you are, the holier you are. And I had to learn to debunk that mindset. You know
Yeah.
what? Let's talk about mindsets. How
Yeah.
important is it to have the right mindset to be in a startup?
Yeah. And not only that, it's I'm sure you've seen all the jokey. This is how I started the day. This is how the day's going. This is I'll never be a business again. You have a best call ever, and then everything. I mean, my day is, and if there was a little window up here of my mom of the amount of times that I've called her and said I'm over it. This is it. Never again. Give me the cush job at the sales. I give it all up. And then that next day, I mean, hours later, you wouldn't believe what happened. I got introduced to it's just such a ride, the mindset. And I would say in one capacity, it's that junkyard dog. You have to
Mm,
really, really believe in what the heck you're selling. You got to believe in this idea that you're risking it all for, because immediately, and we could even talk spiritually. I mean, the under attackness nature of, let's say you're doing something for the kingdom of God. Maybe you're made an agreement to take your money from whatever this idea is and reciprocate it back to God and your enemy worthy at any point in that process. And so one capacity is the mindset around knowing you are on a roller coaster ride and it is going to tear you apart. I in some of those notes there, I said a community that has nothing to gain from you. having at the same time this community of entrepreneurs and all these other things, you can also have a community. For me, I was traveling back and forth to Los Angeles. I needed to raise $1 million for this one idea, and it wasn't going to happen if it was 799. It had to be $1 million that needed to be raised, and it took well over a year for this to happen. I was the most stressed that I've ever been. I mean, my as I'd be sleeping in bed, my muscles would actually fire and just shake from the sheer
Wow.
amount of stress that I was putting my body through. Mentally okay, but physically, your body goes through stressors.
Yeah.
And I would come back in after 3 weeks of in LA, and I pull up to Nashville, and there'd be one or two friends on the porch welcoming me back. And how was LA? It was good, man. This happened. Cool. So what are we doing tonight? The ability to have friends that are just your friends that really could care less about your business is probably the secret behind all of my businesses. Is the fact that I'm still sane and lucid are those people. And so in a slight wrap up of everything, there's the mental capacity, the fact that there are more rainy days than there are sunny days ahead, and
Yeah.
just the fact that you're going to weather those. And then you could start to, in that analogy, you eventually learn that, oh, if I bring an umbrella to this day, it's going to be a little bit better. Maybe I'll get some better boots so I'm more prepared. Maybe I'll start to dress differently in preparation for these challenges that are ahead. Having a spiritual mindset and having a guiding, I don't like totally fake words, a guiding light, a guiding force. If you're in relationship with God and you're guiding, you feel like you're giving him that idea and asking for his leadership. That is the greatest secret sauce behind a lot of the depression and a lot of the ups and downs that go with this. And then there's just the sheer practicality of having a community of friends around you to
Yeah.
say, like, I'm going through something difficult. Can we just go sit on the porch for a little bit? Like, I just need an hour of not thinking about this thing because all 23 other hours are working extra hard to solve this problem.
That is awesome. And me being an extrovert, I've been learning to appreciate my inner introvert, to separate from the crowds, to be like, all right, I need to make sure I'm okay. And I'll step back and come alone and like, Josafat, you good? And then I'll be honest with me. I'll talk to myself and like, well, this kind of sucked, but I'll make it. But that's another skill that I developed in doing a lot of these like what they call shadow working and kind of not deep like meditation where I go into like another sense of being. It's just chance of resting and and knowing who I am in my identity in God. But what I do is whenever something's wrong, I have that ability to pull myself out of the situation and say, all right, this is not normal. This is different. Let's see what's going on. And I'm not guided, or I'm not like reactional. I'm not reacting to whatever's happening or the emotion I feel. I can fix the problem because I can see it from outside of me, and then finally like, all right, let's get this back. Let's get this back. This is going good. This is going good, and that helps me reset, and then I can get back and move with rationale, or move with ease and intelligence. That's
Yeah.
been a really cool skill that I've been able to develop because
And
of.
it'll just keep coming too, of like, my statement before was like, I can only do things for 3 years at a time or 2 years at a time. And now then I got to 4 years, and then I got to 5 years. And it's this idea that like the barriers we put around ourselves often is what we're gonna live up to. We got very very much goldfish mindsets of like, I'm only as big as the bowl that I'm in. Yeah, and I'm only gonna grow to the size of my little bowl. And so each time you get a little bit bigger bowl, and you get a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, I am now, I mean, as many things as I've been through, oftentimes I look back and go, now, could you do it with 5 grand in your pocket? Could you take everything away, and could you go back to the most tiny version of yourself, and could you build it all back up again? And so it's one of those things of um, just just being ready to be uncomfortable, and then you find yourself really enjoying yourself.
That's good stuff. That's really good stuff. All right, Jared. Well, our time is getting away from us.
Yeah,
I am so glad you've spent this time with us because I know your time is valuable, and the more you drop, I'm just we definitely need to bring you back. September is season two starts,
all right.
and
Should have
I'm gonna
I've got a podcast that I'll promote then, so I'll come back.
sweet. And what I want to do though, I want to start another segment called Conversations with the Rockstar. And this one is more like I want to bring two or three people, and we will talk about anything, any kind of conversations. But I know other people that we could definitely talk money, talk about business and strategies and such. It'd be just a fun talk to bring in like a group of a mastermind almost of people. But that's just a dream we have in for the future.
I love it.
But
I'm here to support.
oh man, you're part of the Rockstar Network now, my man. So let's ask the last
As long as I
questions.
can get my internet figured out before then.
I have high speed internet. I've been paying the high speed internet, and I have an Ethernet straight to my computer just for this show.
I,
Because
I I literally double checked it before I got in here. I was 550 down, 250 up. It's literally out. It's out everywhere right now. So
oh,
surprise, surprise. We picked a fun time for it, but
uh,
I appreciate you working with me here.
oh, my pleasure. All right. So one of the questions that I like to ask all of my guests is, what practices or disciplines have become canon in your everyday?
Yeah. So I am very much trying to put some better habits in, but I'm up every day by 7. That's just a standard morning wake up for me. It goes through a little devotion. Probably my favorite thing in the entire world is the activity of I literally have like in my house all the little Google Homes and all that is Good Morning that triggers the DAB. It's called the Daily Audio Bible. It literally sets up my entire day. It's usually around 30 minutes, and it's a reading of the Bible from beginning to end throughout the entire year.
Oh, I
And
love
so
that.
just a very audio based person. And so that starts the day. I'm right into any sort of email follow up by 8 o'clock, into the real job by 9, and pretty much meetings throughout the day. I'll allow myself to take 1 or 2 physical meetings. So that'd be a lunch and a dinner. It's gym in the afternoon, and then we'll just see what the night holds. So I'll definitely be more of the social version of it. I'm not nearly as rigid. I think you get rigidity with the wife and kids part.
Uh,
So I'm not having to dance around that particular system too much. So I'm you're more flexible than anything else. The one thing that I've heard from everywhere, and Taylor being a great advocate for it, is the pre 7 a.m. gym. I put mine in the afternoon. So the pre 7 a.m. gym seems to be copy paste leader, entrepreneur, anything. That pre 7 gym seems to be it. So I'd be a recommendation, but not one I'm currently practicing. I'll let you know when I come back if I've pulled it off before 7 o'clock.
I was getting up at 5:30 to do my workouts in the morning.
You do.
I was
Oh,
until I got this. I tried a supplement that knocked me out. I did it on an empty stomach, and it raised my no, it dropped my blood, my sugar levels, and I went into hypoglycemia, or that was called. I've never suffered that before, so I didn't even know what was going on.
sure.
I just know I had a cold chill. I couldn't figure out what was going on, and so now it made me susceptible. And so I got the cough and stuffy nose that came from it. So I'm letting my body kind of jump back and get
Yeah.
physical again, so I can get back to working out. But yeah, I was my goal was to get up at 5:30, do my exercise, and get ready for work, and then by 7 I'm on my way to work.
Yeah.
But
You got me beat.
it's to me actually I prefer doing it in the morning, and I prefer working out in the fasted state. I feel like my body gets a lot more done in the fasted state. I don't do no pre-workout drinks or none of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's just
I'm
me
I'm
though.
I'm a simple man. You know me. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not too overtly canonized in that regard. I'm still figuring it out, but yeah, I'm your available business guy for a lunch or a dinner, and then a lot of my consulting stuff I'll make room for, and go where we go.
That's cool. That is really cool. So let's say, oh, before I move on to this, let's see what we got over here. We have a Sweet Dab by Spectral Bonsai. I'm not sure if you know who that is. He attends TBCO on but
So
he's a
Dab would be that daily audio Bible. Maybe that's what he's shouting
oh,
out. So
that's it. Mob Dab. There we
not
go.
only that, they're called dabbers, which makes me laugh even more. Exactly. I'm not sure they're aware what they're saying, but I'm pretty hip to it. So yeah, the dabbing community is a very big community, believe it or not. And the guy's out of Spring Hill, so he's nearby, and honestly, to be able to put the word in either before you go to sleep or to start your day, the audio side of it, and it's so funny. We could talk offline about it, but the guy's got like all like flowing music behind it. It's all this very romantic way of listening and interacting with the Bible. But I love it. It's Pavlovian now for me. I start every day with it.
And Spectre also says, "Yes, sir. I've been listening for a few years."
There you go. Yep.
I actually, back in the mission field, I developed the habit of listening to the scripture just because faith comes by hearing. But also when I was working in like some dark cities or cities that you could feel the oppression,
Mm-hmm.
it was hard to sleep, and I needed the scripture to be spoken aloud just so I can find peace in my little house I was sleeping in. But I got to that habit of just listening to it, and I have several different translations, and I've gone through the Bible in Spanish and in English in different translations. Just I don't know, I love listening to it, or I even fall asleep to it. And one of my favorite things is I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and whatever's being read is something I've been asking God about. I was like, that is cool, and I get up like, oh yeah, that's what I was asking about. That's some cool stuff sometimes. So
Okay.
I'm a big advocate for listening to scripture.
Very cool.
Anyway, let's go back to the next question. If my guests want to attempt something, what's one little piece of advice that you could say, hey, just give this a shot, and that can start kind of making your way towards the rock star of tomorrow?
Sure. I mean, we've been talking about ideas, and I guess that would be where my skill set is. Um, get on just Google business plan, or get on something and flush the thing out, because where it lives on paper, it can be refined, it can be dialed in, it could be shared. Hey, and to be able to say to a friend, hey, could you read through this? I'm really trying to take something seriously. It's so much different than sitting around and just hanging out and saying something cool. And like anybody can come up and say an idea. Oh yeah, my first idea as a kid was the toothbrush that you squeeze and the toothpaste came out of the top. I thought how great an idea this would be. It would be the greatest idea of all time. Well, yeah, you could say it all you want. Did you write it down? Did you research? Well, by the way, there was a patent filed in like 1965 that existed. But I didn't do any research. I didn't do any hustle. I didn't take it seriously. And so for me, I would always go into talk is cheap, though the hard work is exactly that. It's hard work. So start very practically, very simply, write it down, start to perfect it. And ask people, hey, where are there holes in this thing that I could possibly be missing?
That is some good stuff. That is good advice. Thank you so much for that, Jared.
Sure.
Whew. Oh yeah, the last question.
Yeah.
So, Jared, if you want to be found, how can people find you?
Sure. Super easy. Couple different handles or different businesses. I'd promote fullmethod.com if you want to know anything about church and church consulting. Daisy May Hat Co. is the hat company. If you're in Nashville, we are right at 1100 Douglas, which is right down in the center of East Nashville. I've got, if you're interested in my personal consulting services, that company is called Roadmap Therapy, and we take those on introductions. It's a referral service only. So if you want to get with Hosa and have him get in touch with me, we can go that route. Or you can find me on all social media platforms. It is at JaredRomano. I'm Jared Romano. It's at Jared Romano on all major social platforms.
And look for that epic beard of his. It's on all social
That's
platforms.
why I let the internet go out, so you could get a different angle of beer to bear.
All right. I'm not gonna kick you out. I'm just gonna put me in front so I can go and close the show, and then I'm gonna bring you right back as we say goodbye.
You got it.
All right. So don't go too far. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, okay, I'll put my shades on once for the end. It's so hot. This has been episode 43 of Hey Rockstar. It is an interview with a rock star featuring the legendary Jared Romano. This show has been packed with value, so please take it, apply it to your disciplines, and go and become that rock star. Go and become that startup expert. Go and just try it and start it and see what creative ventures you can go for, and use the advice that he's giving you. Look for people to help you out. But anyway, Hey Rockstar is associated with Low Budget Productions, which is a podcast platform. If you have Facebook or Instagram, go ahead and follow Low Budget Productions and you'll find out more about other podcasts. If you're interested in starting a podcast, reach out to us and we will gladly take your hand and walk you through so that you can then tell your story. So other than that, Jared, any closing thoughts before I close the show permanently?
No. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll do a series of these, and any way I can help your audience, obviously feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, I think it's a community that is going to be able to help you through the many ups and downs of what it would look like to be a part of an idea, to be a part of a team. I've realized it's not necessarily a straight line. It's definitely a curve, and we all go on that curve together. So looking forward to more of these conversations, and any way I can help somebody, please feel free to reach out.
All right, let's take that curve together and let's go build some great things. All the way from Nashville, Tennessee, I want to thank you for letting us into your homes. Thank you for letting us into your cars. Thank you for letting us into your hearts. So I'm Josafat Emiliano. This is Jared. And Miguel is back there doing his thing. And until next time, much love and many blessings.